people who could have introduced Hazel, and Dave and I were wondering why we got asked, but we found out earlier today we're her favorites. And how many awards has she won? So they're giving her another one. What's left to say about Hazel, Dave?
Thank you, Janice. First of all, let me say thank you to the organizing committee for asking us to be part of this. You know, I was city manager here between 1995 and 2004, I think, and there's an old saying in politics, because even though Janice and I are city managers, I always say, people will ask me many times, what does a city manager do? And my answer is always, we have to play and understand politics, but we never set foot in that world. And so it's something, when you walk away from it, sometimes you're forgotten. So let me just say a few things about Hazel. In 1993, or I think it was 1995, I received a call once from a recruiting firm and said, I was the city manager of Ottawa then, they said, would you like to come and work in Mississauga? And my answer was, does that mean I get to work with Hazel? And that was why I came, because of this wonderful, wonderful person. I've known Hazel for 25 years. I knew her long before I came here by reputation and by sharing some committees with her, with AMO and FCM. And I could talk, and Janice could talk for hours and hours and hours about Hazel the person, but you don't have to do that, because Hazel is a legend. She is a true legend in this community. Thank you. I just want to say a few things about Hazel outside of the political world. I've had an opportunity to travel all over the world with Hazel during my career. We've been everywhere you could imagine, and I remember many, many times, be it an airport in Beijing, an airport in Mumbai, an airport in Frankfurt, and an airport in London. You get off the plane, and you walk into the lobby of the airport, and without question, there will be 4 or 5 people who will say, Hazel, hi, I'm from Mississauga. So her name, her reputation, and her legend goes way beyond that. One last thing I want to say, and that is that Hazel is not only a dear friend of mine, but a person that I have grown to love and respect very deeply over all those years. Our Saturday mornings were spent, I would pick up a couple of cups of coffee. By the way, she takes 4 cream in her coffee, and drive up to her house, and she would have made some cinnamon buns, and we'd sit there for an hour and talk about the week that passed at City Hall, and the week that was coming at City Hall, and how we were going to figure out to handle some of these issues. I had one opportunity that sticks in my mind, and it was very recent. I recently moved up north to the Haliburton area, and I got involved with a number of local organizations up there, and somebody told somebody that I knew Hazel McCallion. And they said, do you think she'd come up here? And I said, well, she does like to fish, and those of you that know Hazel know she likes to fish. So I invited her up. I'll let her tell the story about fishing when she gets up here. We did a little fundraiser for one of the organizations that I'm involved with, and we were in the local general store in a little town called Wilberforce, near Haliburton. And she's running around the store, and she said, you know, Dave, this is just like my general store back in Port Daniel. And I was standing there, and there was a young couple in their 20s staring at her and staring at her. And I went over and I said to them, I just had to say one word. It is her. And the young lady said to me, do you think she'd talk to us? And I said, I'm pretty sure she'd talk to you. So go on over and say hi. And they did, quietly walked over and said hi. And she spent 10 or 15 minutes with them talking. Now, who would have thought that in a small town called Wilberforce, population 500, in the local general store, somebody would come up and recognize Hazel, and they did. So Hazel, it's an absolute honor for me to be here today to welcome you not as a legend, but as a legendary legend. Thank you.
And I think I'll close by saying she may have left as our mayor in 2014, but her reputation and her traditions live on. So in June of this year, I invited her to come and speak at the Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators, so people all across Canada who have jobs just like mine. And we did an interview format, and she passed on her wisdom to all of the other city managers who were there, a lot of whom have never had the privilege of working for a legend, but also may not have the kind of relationship that Hazel always had with her staff and her team. She got 2 standing ovations. She's the highest rated speaker we've ever had at our conference. And I was speaking to a colleague of mine a few days ago at another conference we attended, and he said, Janice, I showed that video to my council about council staff relations, because he said, you know, they won't believe me, but they'll believe Hazel. Hazel, you are an incredible person, tough on the outside, mushy on the inside. You have a heart of gold. You genuinely care about people. Do your homework, tell it like it is. And how many times have you said, it's the staff, it's a team approach? And I know you believe that with all your heart, and I'm so proud to have had the privilege of serving you for as many years as I did. So congratulations. This is another honor that is so very well deserved.